Hi guys! So today I'm just going to get right into it because I have quite a bit of questions to answer. Not your usual backdrop, not my usual outfit. I was actually going to wait till the next day to shoot this when I'm all properly dressed up and whatnot, but I'm just like, just shoot this. So today I'm going to be answering some of your questions. I asked you guys to send me some questions and you guys sent questions. Thank you. Sometimes I'm scared that I would put out stuff and people would just air me. So yeah, thank you for not airing me. Yeah, so I'll just get right into it today. So I will start with the questions on my YouTube. I have like questions here. Okay. My question is, what is the one thing that has stood out for you about life in your 30 years on earth? What is the one thing that has stood out for me? I guess it's the journey of life. You can't really say how things are going to go. You just have to trust. I think that for me, why I would say this is because sometimes I look back at my life and I look at where I am now and I'm just like, there is no way I could have seen this coming, And so I think that is one thing that has stood out for me. Life is, I like to say, Ijuwa. It's Igbo for the journey of life. It's very interesting. Where you were before and where you are now can be like worlds apart. I look at people like Elsa, like Hoti. I'm sure that they never really saw themselves blowing up this big. So it's so funny. Like one little thing, you just need like one little thing and your life just turns around like this. It's crazy. I'm still waiting for my one little thing. So yeah, God, I beg. My question will be, how has your experience been living in Canada as a Black African woman? Honestly, I don't think, if you're asking about racism or any of those things, I haven't really experienced anything. I like to say that it's probably because I haven't really started working and really interfacing with people on a day-to-day basis, like regularly. Maybe that's why. But I really haven't experienced any racism or anything. So my experience has been okay, pretty much okay. I'm just existing. Yeah, so far so good. What advice? I feel like I should actually be rehearsing some of these things. A lot of times I just put on my camera and just keep going. So if I have to think for a bit, bear with me. What advice would you give to people in their 20s on finding or figuring out their purpose, passion, career path, and navigating adulthood in general? Honestly, I feel like I'm even still figuring my own out. Recently, I was reading some of my old blog posts and I read a post where I talked about, like in the post, I talked about how I think I'm finally figuring out what I want to do. This post was probably like 2020 or 2019, so it's not too far back, it's not too far behind. I talked about how I feel like I'm finally figuring out what I want to do, and that before I used to just say, oh, I know I want to work in the creative industry, but I wasn't sure what. And I talked about how I recently applied to a marketing communications roles, and I was keeping my fingers crossed if I was going to get it. I read it out like mad. Also, like about 3 years ago, you literally did not even know what you wanted to do. Like you literally did not have a name for what you wanted to do. And so if I would give an advice to you on figuring out your purpose, I guess I would say, for me, I like to start with, someone actually gave me this advice way back. It's like, when you're not sure of what you want to do, start with what you're sure you want to do. So I start listing out these are the things that I know that I want to do, or I know that I enjoy, so my list back then would look something like videography, creative writing, blogging, stuff like that. And then I had a list of things I know for sure I know what to do, and then there was medicine and there was medicine right there. So I would say you can start creating a list like that to kind of like align yourself with, oh, okay, I know this is for sure what I would like, and I know this is for sure what I do not want to do, As well as when you figure that out, I guess you have to start putting yourself out there. For me, mine was starting a blog, writing on my blog, putting up my personal style. It really like was a foot in the right direction, even though I didn't even know that it was going to be a foot in the right direction. I talked about how the first job that I got, I literally had no prior experience. My job in marketing communications, and that is the same job that I was just talking about right now. I actually got the job. I talked about how I have like little to no pure professional experience, but off the back of the work I had been doing on my blog for years. That was like me writing on my blog, taking photographies, stuff like that, and everything is kind of morphing. So I'm saying all of this to just say that honestly, I myself am still figuring it out, but I guess you can start with your absolutes and definitely not, and putting in some work into the things that you feel like you would want to do. I hope that this helps. What would be your advice to someone who is going into their 20s, trying to navigate through the ups and downs of life, specifically the mental space of people living, trying to find oneself, balance and relationship? Bro, see, I recorded a video on friendships and it touched a lot on this thing, and I was watching it and I was like, yeah, no, I don't think I want to put this out into the world. I don't know if I will put it out. If I do, then you probably have seen that before this video. And I just want to say that I honestly, completely, totally relate with this question, because I feel like my 20s was, oh my God, I was like this sad girl. It was a lot of like navigating through people's absence, people coming and going, people leaving, and what was that thing? Yeah, my mental health was in the drain. So I think that what I would say is that you should try therapy. It really helps. It really helps. I tried therapy once and honestly it helped me. I didn't stick at it, but I would honestly say that it helped me a lot to deal with some of the issues I had with like people leaving and being alone and all of that. So I'd say you should try therapy. It's never too early to start. You don't have to wait till you're like in your 30s. You should actually try therapy. I can't remember the name of the person I used, but I will check my contacts, and if I do remember it, I will put it in the caption of this video. I would say that life gets better also. I remember back then I was in that space and I just felt I had periods where I literally could not see anything improving, but I'm glad I stuck with life and I'm here now. Things seems to be a whole lot better. So I would say that it actually does get better. Try therapy and communicate. So I don't know, obviously I don't know your story. This is my own story. I feel like if I had been better at communicating, a couple of things would have been easier for me when I'm talking about like mental health and all of these things. A lot of the things that I was dealing with it alone. Like I wasn't telling anybody that, oh, I had these issues. And even when I had like friendship breakups, there were very trivial things, just because I couldn't get myself to communicate, like to literally sit down and talk about what is the problem, what is going wrong, how can we fix these things. I would always run away. Communication wasn't my strongest point. So I would say now that you're in your 20s, is definitely something worth strengthening. If it's a problem for you like it was for me, it's definitely something that you should work on now. Communicate when there are conflicts. Don't be like, oh, I don't like conflict, and then you just try to avoid things. Things scatter like that, honestly. Pretty much. It gets better though. It does get better. God, I don't know if you're a Christian or a Muslim, but God really got me through this time. And talking to people, eventually it got so bad that I told my friend, there's something wrong with me. And then she took me to the hospital and then they placed me on meds. That's a whole other story, but yeah. Welcome to 30th floor. My question is on why you decided to leave the medical profession, and what advice can you give to someone who might want to do the same? You know, it's so wild, right? I haven't worked as a doctor since I finished my NYSC. I don't even know when that was. I think that was like 2019 or thereabout, or 2018, 2019. I think 2019. But somehow my parents still call me and they'll be like, oh, okay, so are you ready to pass exams to work as a doctor in Canada? And I'm just like, guys, I thought we've passed this stage. So what I would say is that pray about it, definitely. Why did I decide to leave? I think that right from when I was a medical student, I just knew that it wasn't for me. The thing about me is that my memory, maybe it's not just me, maybe it is life in general. A lot of times when you leave a particular situation, you tend to forget the hardships, I guess. So sometimes when I look back, I don't even remember how bad it was, like being in med school, being a doctor. Like, it feels like I've whitewashed everything. But sometimes I think about some of this and I'm like, girl, you really suffered. So I just knew right from my medical school days that it really wasn't for me. It was very strenuous. The reading part of it wasn't so bad. Not that I like to read, but I can read, right? It's not something that I hate doing or is a big problem for me, but I just knew that it wasn't for me. It was like long hours. Sometimes we would have call, like be on call, literally be in the hospital back to back for like 48 hours. And I just knew it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And also, obviously, I started writing, I started modeling, and so I was in this creative industry, and I could see like things delighted me. Like things made me excited. Going for these events, watching people like put on clothes and look all stylish, and I would get so excited, and I just knew that yeah, medicine was not for me. And yeah, that's why I decided to leave it. That's the question you asked. How did I leave it? That's not what you asked, so I'm just not going to. So what advice would I give to someone that wants to do the same? I would say that you should try to figure out what you actually want to do. It's okay if you don't have a clear picture of what exactly you want to do, but at least have some idea, like rough idea. And like I said to the other person, you can actually start to work towards that or work in that field in some sort of way. If it's an internship, if it's whatever it is, I'm putting it out. I'm trying to network with people in this industry or whatever field that you are leaning towards. I would say that honestly, you have. No, I wouldn't say you have to be sure. I wasn't sure. So no, I wouldn't say you have to be sure. I would just say that sometimes I think about it and I realize that I know that if I had continued being a doctor, life would have been a little bit easier for me. It would be stressful. It would be stressful. It will be easier for me in the sense that when it comes to like work path, so I know that, oh, I have to read, pass this exam, be a good enough doctor, get on to the next stage, and so on and forth. But like for me right now, currently job hunting and all of that, it's a lot of, oh, you must network, you must do this, and I just wish it was like, oh, okay, I've studied, I've passed this exam, I have the right skills, I'm going to move on to this next stage or something like that. I feel like the creative field is more stable, you know. I honestly don't even know if this video is correctly exposed. I did not plan to shoot this. I was just like, oh, let me see what this background looks like, and I just sat down and started talking. So I'm just going to stand up and check it now. I think it is. Is the focus on me? I think it is. Okay, just when I say that your videos are so beautiful, thank you so much. I have a lot of comments like this actually. They're not questions. People are like, just want to comment your work, and I'm just like, thank you. Oh, thank you. See, you guys, when I started my YouTube channel, I was really scared. If you're new here, you probably haven't seen a lot of my old videos. I talked about it in one of my first videos. I talk too fast. In one of my first few videos. So to get this kind of response from you people, it's really encouraging, honestly. That's what I'm saying about creative work. It's a lot of ups and downs, you know, and a lot of times it feels like it depends on how people take your work. It's a lot. So I appreciate every single kind word, gestures, comments, people watching my videos and everything. I really appreciate it. The gap year I had before my housemanship, in honest words, how did it go? How did I manage it? And in retrospect, do you think it was necessary? Was it really a good learning curve, or do you think it was unnecessary now? This is a good question. Okay, so rewind. I talked about it in one of my videos. The video is about being stuck in a waiting period. So after I graduated from med school, we have to do a 1-year housemanship. You're a doctor, but then you work in a hospital, kind of like an intern, right? It's supposed to be an automatical placement, but for me, I struggled. I didn't get a job for like a year, and so now looking back, I would say that year was absolutely necessary. You know how sometimes you're in something and like, oh God, why am I in this place? I look back and I'm like, yes, thank God, I see why I had to be in this space, because I had that period of time. It was during that period of time that I started my blog planners. A lot of you may not know it, but it was really big at that point in time. So I launched planners for like bloggers and content creators, and I know that if I did not have that gap here, I wouldn't have had all of that time to actually bring out that idea that I had in my head and see it through, all the way from like getting the design done, finding a printer, hustling back and forth with printer, delivery men, all of those things, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I think that it was an absolutely necessary year. When I talk about like me being in my waiting period now, looking for a job, lots of people tell me savor this time, because when you do eventually get a job, you would be like, oh my god, I wish I just did more with this time. So I would say, if you're asking me because you're in that sort of situation, I'd say try to use it to the best that you can. Honestly, I think about it, if I had gotten here and gotten a job immediately, I wouldn't have been able to put out content, every YouTube videos every week. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know what path like me doing videos and YouTube videos is going to take me down, but I know for certain that if I like got a serious role immediately I moved here, I wouldn't have been able to make these videos. Right now I wouldn't be making this video, I'll be at work. So I'd say that year was necessary. I look back and I'm like, yes, it was absolutely necessary. I see why I had to. I ran my blog planners for about 4 years before I stopped doing it, because Nigerian artisans, they wanted to kill me. So yeah, and then COVID happened. What are the biggest lessons on life and love that you have learned in your 20s? What advice do you have for people who are still figuring out what they want to do with their life career-wise in the long term? I already talked about that part. Biggest lessons on life and love. Life and love. Life and love. What are the biggest lessons? I'd say that communication is really important. I know, looking back, I see how much my lack of communication skills has really like ruined a lot of my relationships. Biggest lessons in life. Actually thinking about this one, I would say that one of the lessons as well is that the journey of life is very interesting. You never know the road that life will take you, that a certain path will take you down. Take all the chances that I can when I get them. People are absolutely necessary. Unfortunately, this is something that I know, but I'm still trying. I'm still learning. I don't think I answered this question well. I need to think about this one, honestly. Would I do medicine again if I had the chance? Nope, I wouldn't do medicine again. But honestly, I don't see anything as wasted. That's why I've been talking about like journey of life. The way that I see things now is that I don't see any experience as wasted. Yes, I was in med school for 6+ years, but I don't see it as, oh my god, I just wasted my time. I'm just like, yes, it's fine. I don't know what I wanted, like what I needed to have learned being in med school at that particular time. I just honestly don't see anything as a waste. But would I do it again? No. I wouldn't do it again, not because like I felt like it was a complete waste of my time. I wouldn't do it again because hopefully I would be approaching what I want to study with more knowledge. It's kind of like how now, even till date, there's so many careers that I hear. Like someone tells me, oh, I am a product writer or something, not product writer. Someone told me something. My husband told me something recently. I'm a product something. I'm like, wow, a job like that exists. So I think that I would be approaching like what I want to study in uni from like have like more knowledge, and I know that there will be other things that I would probably study that would be more helpful to this creative journey, this creative path that I am currently on. So no, I wouldn't do it all over again. No. What would you say to someone who seems to be far behind their peers in academics, career, and marriage? I would say that I get it, but also there is such a thing as the timing of your life. A lot of times we judge things based on like what other people are doing. This person is here already at this age, I'm here at this age. But there's such a thing as the timing of your life, to be very honest. So I would say that I totally get it. I would definitely never invalidate how you feel. I understand how hard it is to not compare or be like, oh my god, I'm so behind. I get it. But I also want to say that you should trust in the timing of your life. Sometimes you are not at a particular phase just because you are not ready to be at that particular phase. It's not a factor of, oh, how old you are, how many years you've lived on this earth. It's a factor of like, well, are you actually ready? You know, it's kind of like how now a lot of people are like having babies, and I'm like, I'm married now, I should have babies. I look at these things on Instagram, or like my relatives, all of my relatives are having babies now. My age group, my cousins, and I'm just like, oh, I need a baby. And I think about it, and I'm like, yeah, you do, but you know, you're not financially ready for a baby. So I would say that I get it, but also try not to compare so much. I love how you tell your stories. Can you please share what camera you use? Of course, definitely. This is the easiest question. I currently use a Sony ZV-E10 with an 18mm f1.4 lens, which is what I'm using to shoot right now. I also have a 50mm 1.8 lens as well. So right now, Sony ZV-E10. This is the second camera this is the third camera I've ever owned. I started with a Canon Rebel something back then. It was a long time ago, and then I had a Sony A6000 before I got this one. Yeah. How did you meet your husband? I have a whole last video on how I met my husband. I will put the link in the caption, or there should be like one pop-up thing up there. But yes, I have a video on that, girl, so go check it out, okay? What's the first few months of marriage like? Did you guys fight a lot? How did you navigate it? You know how I told you guys that I tend to like forget things when I move past it. So my brain is saying that it was okay. How was the first few months of marriage for us? Let me see. It was actually not so bad. I definitely had some fights. We still have some fights. Would I say it was a lot of fights? Not really. But then again, the first year of marriage, this was me moving to Ibadan, a whole new place where I literally did not know anybody. And my husband would go to work, and I used to work remotely from the house. And so that period of time, I was still trying to figure out a lot of things, in a sense that when he would go to work and come back, a lot of times I want him to come back home on time because I wanted to spend time with him. And I know now, like coming out of all of that, I know that it can be a bit stifling. Is that stifling or stifling? Yeah, it can be a bit. So I'm sure that it affected him in that way, because a lot of times it would be like, oh, it felt like if he wanted to stay back and hang out with friends or whatever, he would have to think about me at home, being like, babe, when are you coming home? Come home. And I'm sure it probably felt like his freedom had reduced a bit. But I wouldn't say we had a lot of fights. We did have a couple of fights. Sometimes about this, sometimes about other random things. Obviously, it's not even just about like first year of marriage. Well, it's about first year of marriage because obviously it's kind of like when you start a new job, you're learning a lot of things, right? And then 2 years into the job, 3 years into the job, you're more grounded, you're more solid. You've learned, like, obviously there's sometimes that they'll throw some things at you that you'd be like, I don't know how to handle this yet, but you're more solid. And I would say that that's kind of like how it was for me. I mean, my second year, there are a lot of things that I have learned. So there are a lot of things that I wouldn't stress so much as I probably would have in my first year, because I've learned how to navigate these things. So I would say that it was nice. It was a nice experience. My husband is a good husband. He's actually a good husband. So lots of times, even if there's some problem or something, after everything dies down, we would always like talk about it. But yeah, for him too, it was his first time being a husband, his first year as well, learning a lot of things. So two different people together, there's always bound to be fights. I wouldn't say a lot of fights. Sometimes I'm so dramatic. God, let's not get into that. How did you migrate from medicine to marketing and comms? Do your parents have any objections about your move? I think I've said this one earlier, like even to today, sometimes I don't even want to call because it would start from, oh, and then it's like, okay, so when are you taking your exams to practice? I'm just like, God. So yeah, I've talked about that. Yes, they had objections, but I don't know, I think the way the thing even happened, we just bamboozled them. So I finished my NYSC. Yes, I worked as a doctor then, and then somehow I just got this job and I just started working and never looked back. I guess they were just happy that I was earning money, so they never really stressed about it. Here we are now. Did you ever consider doing business in fashion, a fashion blog or something? Girl, I had a whole ass fashion blog, CassieDaves.com. Yo, bro, I wish that you guys knew me in my before days. But you know, that's the thing. It's journey of life, like I always say. Now I've moved on to YouTube, so but it's still there. I had a fashion blog, definitely. It was what I started out with. and now I'm here. So yes, I did. And not only did I have a fashion blog, I was also a blogger's blogger. So I used to do like blog consultations, blog reviews, and stuff like that. I had, yeah, stuff like that. Can you do a video on your skincare routine? Yes, I will. Honestly, my skin is healing. That's all I have to say. It's actually healing. When I moved here, it was a mess. So I would definitely do one. It's in the plan. What name can you suggest I give my daughter? I don't know. It depends. Is it an English name? Is it like a native name? Even my own kids, I haven't really thought about names, so I don't think I wish you gave me more like details, like, oh, you're looking for an English name, or oh, an Igbo name or something like that, then I would be able to. How did you navigate your 20s? Regrets, things you wish you had done at the beginning of your 20s. I have a video on this. This FAQ is one of my last videos that I'll post out in my 7-day challenge. So if you're watching this, then I already put out the videos on my 20s, so yeah. I'd like to know about your remote work. What remote work did you do? How did you start and the journey so far? I know how people, like, there's so much crazy, oh, remote work. So I wouldn't want to say like remote work per se. When I was in Nigeria, I was working with an institution as their content strategist and communications associate, which is the work that I still do. When I was in Nigeria, I was remote. The company is in Nigeria. It was hybrid, kind of, but the times that I would need to go to the office were very few and in between. So yeah, pretty much. How did I start with it? I don't know. I applied for it and I got the job. I never really had, like, you know how during that pandemic there was like a whole craze of, oh, tech job, remote tech job. I never really had all of that craze. I'm just thankful, honestly. I don't have any like special thing that I did to get the job. I literally saw it. I did an interview. They gave me some practical questions to do. I did it, submitted it. I got an offer. That was it. I didn't jump at it because it was a remote role. It was just something that looked like something I wanted to do at that point. I will come to Canada as a student next month. How is the system there? Would you encourage someone to relocate? I don't know about the university system, unfortunately, because mine, I came as a PR person. I have a video on my PR, whatever, with my husband, linked below as well. How is this place? I also have a video there. I also have a video about like my experience in Canada. I talked about it with Blessing Smith, another YouTuber, linked as well. So yeah, that answers that. How are you able to keep yourself to marriage despite the advances? How do you know I had advances? Honestly, yeah, I think that I have been, I don't know if I want to say lucky. I don't like to use the word luck because I know say, you know, God day. So I don't like to say the word luck. But I look back and see, I say this thing, I look back and I see why it look. See, this life, this life, the journey of life. That's my catchphrase, the journey of life. Ijua. It's crazy because when you're experiencing something, you can never see like the positives. But I look back and I see why a lot of the things in my life happened the way they did. And I'm like, thank God it happened this way. So let me give you a backstory, right? As a student, when I was in secondary school, when I was in uni, I wasn't like one of the hot babes, bubbling babes, one of those things, right? I wasn't. Even till now, I'm not like really crazy about my looks in the sense that, see, I don't have eyeliner or anything on. Like I literally just came out like this. I've never been like a, oh my God, hair laid, makeup up, fully kind of person. Not like there's anything wrong with that. I'm just giving you this background to tell you that I was a dead girl in school. Not dead in Jesus' name, but like I was a dead baby in school. I didn't really get a lot of like advances, a lot of like men on my matter and all of that. And back there, you know, I think about it, I'd be like, oh my God, why are men not chasing me or stuff like that? Not that they didn't, they did, but I feel like God really protected me. So for example, I forgot a lot of things though. I had one relationship like that. The relationship I had, that was long-term one for 4 years. I was so lucky and fortunate enough to have met someone who was a Christian and who was like, yeah, no, we're not doing anything. So I didn't get any pressure from that. And when that one ended, you know, it was like, oh my God, pain. But I look back and I think about it and I'm like, yes, if I wasn't with this particular person for that 4 years, who knows who I would have been with, and who knows what they will have tempted me to do. So I think about it and I'm like, yeah. So see, I'm not a superhero or anything. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, one super Christian that I wasn't tempted or anything. I just feel like God really just kept me. So that 4 years I was like out, and that 4 years, like, was my younger age. I think I was, how old was I then? It was my early 20s, child. That was like an impressionable age, and thankfully I was with this person that had sense and knew that, yeah, we're not going to be fornicating. So yeah, that happened. And obviously when I got into my relationship with Mark, I was already more solid as like a Christian as well. I knew that, yeah, I'd waited this long, I'm not going to do this thing. And yeah, thankfully Mark is also someone who, if he doesn't, he's not going to die. So we were able to, yeah, he knew it was important to me. He's a Christian as well, so it was important to him as well. So yeah, I think that's how I was. A lot of times people ask me things and I'm like, where do I even want to start from? It's grace, it's God's grace, honestly. Because a lot of times people ask things and they want me to like give them tips and this. I'm just like, I was just carried by grace. It's not me, I did not do anything. Honestly, it was just grace, because I look back and I see that I could have made a lot of stupid mistakes. I'm just like, thank God I was a dead baby in school. Thank God I was in a relationship with this person for 4 years. That's, kept me and my purity. Yeah, and thankfully it ended at the right time. I was like more mature and all of that. I definitely see, a lot of times people say keep yourself, to talk about like actually having sex, right? So it's a whole lot more than that. It's like all of that making out, touchy things. So I would not sit down here and tell you that I never did that. I did do that, and I would feel like a terrible person. But thankfully, I'm here now. So yes, I would just tell you, girl, see, there's nothing there. Honestly, even me as a married woman, I'm like, yes, why are people so crazy about sex? Yes, it feels good, but after it feels good, finishes, is the end. Will you live your life on feeling good? There's nothing there. Let me just tell you, it feels good. It's like eating, if you eat one nice food, oh, okay, so when you finish eating it, you move on with your life. Do you now want to risk so much? There's so much at stake. You just want to risk it because you want to eat one nice food. You don't, like, cost and benefit, or cost and whatever. The mass is not balancing. So honestly, I'll just tell you, forget how people are making it seem like, oh my God, it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's not. Yes, I would say it's not. Even if it's nice. But still, it's not worth it. It's not, like, when you count like what the stakes, right? It's not worth it. Even when, see, trust me, when you get married, right? I know you think that you're doing it every day. You probably would not. So just chill, hang in there, honestly. It's not worth it. It's not as deep as, like, please just hold yourself together. Pray, ask God for grace. Don't put yourself in situations that these are all the generic advice that people would give you, right? Don't put yourself in, we know all these things. Me, I used to know it even when I used to make out with people. So I would just tell you, at the back of your mind, if you can just put it there, like, see, yeah, the stakes, it's not worth it. It's like very fleeting pleasure compared to like what you actually stand to gain. Especially if you're a Christian. I don't know if you're a Christian, but as a Christian, it's not worth it. It's not even worth, even if you're not a Christian self, like so many people, casual, mixing, mangling, it's not worth it. Trust me. It's not worth it. What kind of job would you like to consider doing in Canada, or is it just content for now? Also, what do you miss most about home, and would you have changed if you had the chance before relocating? What kind of job do I call? It's the kind of job I'm doing right now. So I guess a lot of people don't know this, but I work as a marketing communication specialist, also a content strategist. I would definitely love to work. I would definitely love to do that here. I also have a diploma in product marketing. It's another thing I'm really hoping, keeping my fingers crossed that I do get the role in something like that. I would love to like actually work content, being a full-time content creator, not anytime. Well, I don't know what plans God has for me. Hey, God, please, if that's your plan for me, girl, I don't mind, but yeah, I think I would actually like to like work for a bit, you know, have that experience. Definitely full-time content creator. I just moved here. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I personally would like to work, but I know that what God cannot do does not exist. So if He decides to, you know, make me blown, most blown, you know, and I get like big gigs and stuff, maybe I would chill a bit. But yeah, for now, what I miss most about home, honestly, I don't really miss so much. I guess I kind of miss like the nice weather, not when it's really hot. I honestly don't miss so much. Again, I have a video about this with Blessing Smith. I'll just link it, all these videos in the caption so that you guys can check that out. Would I have changed anything before you look it? I won't change anything. I'm God. See, honestly, life here isn't super great. It's not. I had it easy. I would say easier. I had it easier in Nigeria. When I talk about like being comfortable, right? Honestly, I'll tell you that for free. And I would say that I already talked about it in my other video, so please check that out. I talked about it. I'd like to know when and how you started your YouTube. So I've been saying I would start my YouTube channel for years. Literally, I said it for so long. And then when I started planning my wedding last year, it was last year. Yeah, I'm 1 year married already. When I started planning my wedding last year, I just started. And you see what I said, this I'm about to say journey of life again. I feel like you people will swear for me if you if you hear it one more time. But I think back at it and I'm like, that was such a perfect time for me to have started. It's like I procrastinated it for years, right? And when I started, my first video was about planning my Nigerian wedding. And when I started, it felt like since that month that I started, I've had something to talk about since then. Because literally like wedding, relocation. So I had a lot to talk about and kind of like build my content style, my video style and all of that because there was stuff. So like now, even when there isn't so much to talk about, I've had like a bit of experience. I kind of know how to get content even if there's no content, you know. So I feel like it was the perfect time for me to have started. I don't know, Shab, but yeah, that's the thing, we never know. But yeah, that's how I started. I literally just started. That's it. I actually opened this account a while back, but I didn't really have much on it. But yeah, if you were to change anything in the past 29 years of your life, what would it be? People often have mixed feelings when they're about to clock 30. Something like, wow, do you have anxiety? Are you scared of the future? Yeah, I think about it, I'm like, oh, I'm more 30. 30 is big, but I don't think I'm anxious or anything. I feel like it's like every other year. I mean, I remember when I was 19, I turned 20, I turned 25, and those 25 is a big age when you're young. But it was just like waking up another day. I was not any different, so I'm not really anxious or anything. I'm not really anxious or anything. What would I change in the past 9 years of your life? I wish I had a more stable background. When I say background, I mean like mental health wise. I would definitely change that. I guess it is what it is. You married as a virgin. My question is, how did you navigate the pressure and natural desire? Honestly, okay, I've answered this question, but to add to it, I would also say that I personally, I feel like for me, the fact that I hadn't even had it made me scared to have it. So it didn't make me like, oh my God, I want to. It made me more, no, I don't think I want to. So I would never have done it with just a random person. It's like now I'm married. Even while I was married, I was still a bit scared. But I know that I'm in a safe space. This is my person. This is my person forever. So I was calm, I was relaxed, even when I wasn't like so calm. But there's this like free mind, you know. So I the fact that I didn't do it for like, I was like 25, I'd never done it. It didn't make me want it so much. It made me more like, nah, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. So I don't know. Maybe it's my own peculiar situation. Say also it's kind of like if you've not eaten a food or if you've not eaten something, you would not like be craving for something you don't know. So for me, not even knowing much about it, I was never like craving it or anything like that. I don't know if that makes much sense, but yeah, that may just be me. But I mean, I've talked about it in the other question, so yeah. Are you working towards having a baby? When I did my video on babysitting my nephew, I talked about how I was really like, oh, I want to have a baby, I want to have a baby. Let me tell you guys, see, I'm now in this phase of my life. See, so I don't know if you know, but I got diagnosed with endometriosis. I've been stable for a while. See, honestly, I personally feel like God has healed me. My periods are so much better now. Like every month, I'm like, is this the period I used to know? I don't know. It has gotten so much better, but I'm saying this to say that, so right from time, that has always been the big elephant in the room for me. Endometriosis is associated with infertility. So it has always been, oh my God, would I be able to get pregnant? So now I'm in this season where I'm now married. So it's now like, okay, this is the manifestation time. But am I working towards having a baby? No, not at the moment. And like I said earlier, it's mostly because I would really like to have a child, a baby now, but honestly, we have to be realistic about these things. Sometimes I think about it, I think about other people I know that they were not expecting and it just happened and they did not die, right? It's not like they were like 100% prepared. Yes, we have all the resources to raise this child. Perhaps sometimes I think about it like, I know, Cassie, you feel people are not there yet. Like you just moved, you're still trying to find your footing. But other people, they had the child and everything worked out, so you can do that. But honestly, I'm just like, yeah, let's chill a bit, maybe next year. So for now, the answer is no. How did I meet my husband? Answered already. Why am I not practicing medicine? Answered already. I think we're getting to the end. Why did I stop blogging? Is it not profitable anymore? It was never about profit. I actually did a whole last post on my blog about why I stopped blogging. It was never about profit. I didn't start blogging for profit or anything. That one just kind of naturally came. My question is, what is the one thing? Okay, answer that. This is the beginning question. I think that is that for the questions. The questions on YouTube. Let me check. I had very few questions on my Instagram, so I'll check that as well. You posted something that looks like egg. Please, I want the recipe. My Instagram people are not serious. Okay. How do you move on? How do you move on after your grades were dropped by your lecturers in a federal uni in Nigeria? I feel and it cut off. Well, I don't have that experience. How would I move on? I don't know. There's some things that you cannot really say until you experience it. So I don't know. That must be so sad. I don't even know, honestly. I don't know. But let me just be straightforward. Can you do a YouTube video on how you edit your YouTube videos? Because they are so clear and interesting to watch. Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, like I said earlier, sometimes when people ask me to do to teach things or ask for tips, this one is grace too. It's grace too. But if I tell you guys the truth is that I edit my videos with CapCut. So it's less about the editing tools. It's more about the story you have in your head, you know. So for me, I start with the story. I always start with the story. I always start with this thing I want to communicate. How can I say it in a way that is interesting and people want to hear what I have to say? I didn't do that with this video, but I'm hoping that the advice will make people want to watch it. So how I did my YouTube videos, I literally just film and edit on CapCut on my phone. My husband keeps telling me to start editing on my laptop, but personally, I know I get to a stage where I would just need to edit on my laptop. So even now, sometimes the videos are so huge. For example, when I talk too fast. For example, when I do sit down videos like this, the videos are so big and it's because I'm shooting in 4K. I can't even send it to my phone because it's too large. I have to upload it on Google Drive and re-download it to edit on my phone. So I know I'll get to a stage, it can be stressful sometimes, where I just need to edit on my laptop because it's the saner thing. But for me right now, I enjoy editing on my phone because it doesn't feel like work per se. So I can just be laying down and editing. Compared to my laptop, once I sit down on my laptop on a chair, I'm just there. It feels like I'm working, but on my phone, I can literally just lie down on the couch and edit. So yeah, maybe one day I'll do a video on actually how I film and edit and all of that. I tend to shy away from teaching things. I become one of those people that, oh, this is how to shoot, this is how to make cinematic videos. Nothing wrong with them. I watch those videos for the tips. So I don't know. Sometimes it may also be imposter syndrome. I feel like I'm not doing anything crazy, so like, what I want to be teaching people. So I'll think about it, and maybe I'll have a video like that actually. Maybe I do have something to teach people. What's one thing you're looking forward to as you turn a year older? I'm just looking forward to being more stable and having a child. So yes, I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure the person that asked this question is asking more like something for myself. Maybe I'm looking forward to being this, I don't know, but yeah. Ideas to build intimacy with your partner in a celibate relationship. See, for me, intimacy is not like mingling your body. It's safety. Like, how safe can you be with this person that you know? Like, I can talk to this person about anything, and I know that they're going to be a safe space. So for me, that's it though. Say playing games, like they have these games where you ask questions to connect. I actually have a game I made with my sister. It's called True Self. The page on Instagram is QnA Games. I'll put it in the caption as well. It's one of those games where you get to ask deep questions and really connect. I think that is one way to build intimacy with your partner. I don't know if this is what you wanted to I don't know if this is what you wanted to hear, but I think that is one good way. When you talk about these things, the questions like help you get deeper, you know. You ask yourself questions that you think, and you share something deeper than physical, you know. So yeah, that's it. Do things together, worship together. If you're a Christian, worship together, pray together, read Bible plans together, and talk about life. Play together. I'm a very playful person. Thanks to my dad, who I would always fight with playfully. We used to play fight all the time. So it's something I do with my husband. So we're always play fighting. Yeah, so life is so overwhelming, girl. Tell me about it. How do you readjust to every situation life throws at you? Do I have a choice? I don't have a choice but to readjust. So what can I do? So honestly, sometimes I just want to like wallow and just like lay in bed. But if I lay in bed, what will become of my life? I'm just a girl, and unfortunately my destiny, my future is in my hands. So how do I readjust? I just have to. I don't have a choice. I mean, I have days where I'm just like, oh, nothing is working out. I'll just stay in bed. But if I stay in bed, nothing will work out. So I don't know. I talk about it with my husband sometimes. I pray. I listen to worship songs. I'm always singing worship songs. If you follow my Insta story, you're probably tired of me. Like, this girl thinks she can sing, but she can't sing. So yeah, I pray. I journal. Not journal. I don't really journal, but I journal to God. I have like a book where I write. I'm like, Baba God, this, you know. So these things help me a lot. These are the things that help me. Also, I don't have a choice, but yeah, that's what I do. I pray. I worship. Sometimes I'm literally just there saying, Holy Spirit, please help me. Holy Spirit, please help. I say like 20 times because I don't even have it. Like, that's how the situation has gotten here. Like, I don't even have anything to say. I'm just like, God, please help me. God, please help me. God, please help me. And after everything, I dust my trouser and stand up and do life again, because what choice do I have? If you have friends, lean on your friends. Lean on people. If you have people, lean on them. I know a lot of times we feel like we don't want to be a bother to people. I feel that a lot. Like, I don't want to be a bother to this person. Oh, everyone has their own problems, so let me not stress anybody with my own problems. But please share. These are things that would help you like bounce back. Well, Nigeria, aside family and friends, not a single thing. I do not miss a single thing. I have a video on this as well. What do I miss about? Honestly, I don't miss much. I miss Hans and Rainy ice cream. Sometimes I'm just like, my phone made this collage of pictures of ice creams, and I was like, oh, Hans and Rainy, when next? So I miss Hans and Rainy ice cream. I don't think there's much I miss. There's nothing much. I'm curious of how different do you feel about, I'm curious how different you feel about approaching 30 now than when you were, say, 25 or 24 or 25. I don't feel any type of way. I don't feel any type of way. I just Well, one mind or one part of my head is like, wow, you're like old now, girl. You cannot just be doing anyhow. You cannot be saying, oh, Mark, help me say this because I'm shy to say it. You're going to be a mother soon. Well, I'm not pregnant, but yeah, getting to that stage of my life. So one mind is like, you have to get your acts together, you know. So yeah, I think pretty much that is what it is. Someone said if you don't know your direction or purpose at 30, it's a shame. At what age should one figure life out? Must be nice to have everything together by 30. I don't know that girl. I can't relate. It would be nice to relate, but I can't relate. So I don't think there's any definite age. We keep figuring things out. Life is a mystery. So I don't think there's any age. Please don't let anybody stress you or pressure you into anything. The battery is going to die soon, so I'm going to end this very soon. How do you feel about turning 30? Because I felt like I was getting old, but I was happy. I don't really feel any intense emotion about it. I think we have gotten to the end of the video.